So you all know that I love me some history and mythology, and that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today in regards to Jyubei the Bone Collector. If you enjoy this video and want to see me talk about more subjects like this in the future, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more daily Inuyasha and Yashahime content. With all that out of the way though, let's get into it. I've seen a few people mention a samurai by the same name, but the first was a comment by Artsy Fartsy, so I decided to look into it a little bit more, and most links tend to point towards a man named Yagyu Jyubei Mitsuyoshi. His father was a master swordsman and swordplay instructor for the Tokugawa shogun, which have come up a bit in previous videos where we talked about Sesshomaru's crests and the Azai clan. So thematically, this would likely be the group of people that we're talking about here. This was further supported when we found out that Jyubei himself was an attendant to the second Tokugawa shogun in 1616, which is the exact point in time in which the Azai clan merged to the Tokugawas. Now, there aren't many records of Jyubei, however he does come up again around 1631, at which point he's considered one of the best swordsmen in his clan, and arguably all of Japan. However, it seemed like he butt heads with the shogun of the period as he left his post to go on a warrior's pilgrimage. This typically involved traveling Japan without the protection of his family or school so that he could spar and learn from others, as well as acting as a mercenary or bodyguard or whatever else he needed to do to make ends meet, of course preferring to act on things which would give him extra practice with the sword. After 12 years of essentially being MIA, Jyubei returned to demonstrate his swordsmanship to the shogun and was reinstated to the government, taking control of his father's land. Also, in many tellings of the story, Jyubei returned with one eye, which, that checks out. There isn't really a whole lot more to talk about when we come to Jyubei. However, he did write a book called The Art of Looking at the Moon, which outlined his story during his disappearance and the basics of his personal school of swordsmanship. So, some things to mention here. If Jyubei is based on this legendary samurai, I feel he will probably be an incredibly powerful character as the story progresses. If I had to guess, I would say that he's maybe going to act as a teacher for Moroha, or based on the story, more likely Towa. We might also consider that he's currently on a warrior's pilgrimage as well, or that he at least has given up on being a samurai for the time being. One of the most interesting points of this whole story was the title of his book, The Art of Looking at the Moon. While Moroha is the one who is most linked to Jyubei so far, the idea of the moon is obviously more connected to Sesshomaru in that, well, he literally has one on his head, leading me to believe that he might not be so much a teacher for Moroha as he would for Towa, who also uses a sword. Also, at the end of the last episode, he mentions the whole Yashahime thing, which I first assumed was a blanket term for the trio, as it usually is, but this time he might specifically be referring to Sesshomaru's kids. But those are just my thoughts on the situation. I am really excited to see what comes of this character. Obviously we don't have too much to go on in terms of the actual story of Yashahime, but I'll likely come back to this topic as we learn more about Jyubei in the future. Personally, I'm kind of hoping to see him play the mentor role, or maybe a surprise hero kind of role, but we'll see what happens. Furthermore, in terms of the butterfly effect, what happens if Jyubei dies in this story? How does that change the events of history? Something we can definitely think about. It isn't very often that we get a real person in the past that's mentioned in Inuyasha. We'll see what happens though. I think it's pretty cool. And on top of all that, of course his character's tied to the Azai clan and the Tokugawa clan that are so core to Sesshomaru's design. And all of that ties together in just such a cool way for a basis of a character. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you cautious about Jyubei? Are you excited to learn more about him? I want to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more daily Inuyasha and Yashahime content, as well as a big thank you to our patrons, the Dai Yokai Miasma, our Yokai Lucifina Akuma, our Hanyo Jasmine Morales, Michael Greco, Negakitty, Simon Electric, Anthony Hogan, and Randy Moseyman. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, remember to stay excellent.